With us this afternoon to give remarks in his 22nd year as Director of Athletics at Wayne State University, Mr. Rob Fournier. Rob?
Thanks, Jason. Also, before I start, I want to give a shout out there to Dr. Turner, who helped put all this together, done a fabulous job. If you watch her, she's always following me around during these events because I'm not really sure what I'm doing, so she keeps me on track. So, Candace, thank you. And also Lauren and Jason and Gerald, they've done a great job in putting this together. My good friend Keith Williams said to me, he goes, I like this venue a lot better. He said, why didn't we just do this here every year? And I said, well, Keith, we used to play basketball games in here. And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember now. So, where have you been? I'm waiting 2 years for this. We've been through a lot the last 2 years as an athletic department. I'm sure each of you seen out here will acknowledge. The interesting thing about athletics during the whole pandemic, we kept competing. When the rest of the university shut down and went virtual, we were still going live over here. We practiced in masks. We tested ourselves 6 times a week. And that's that little finger thing that you do. No, ask those guys that were doing that antigen test early in the morning before they could go to practice. We canceled our first football season since there was a war in Europe, the one in the 40s. We moved our volleyball and our cross-country teams to the winter and the spring. We won a basketball championship right on this court without any fans. And when the university said, well, you got to be vaccinated in order to keep competing, 97% of our student athletes got vaccinated. So we feel the pain that you all felt. But I think there's a good lesson in there, and I think it's reflected in the student athletes we're inducting today. Student athletes are just wired differently. You give them a challenge, and they'll meet that challenge. And thanks to the president, who understood that, athletics was given an opportunity to continue while the rest of the campus was shut down. I've been waiting 2 years now to introduce this class, and I'm glad we've had this opportunity today. I'm going to go through and just make some brief remarks about each of them, as I normally do, so you can get to know a little bit more about them other than a statistical presence. Baseball. You've heard the old line, in stock, buy low, sell high. What do you think that means in athletics? That's where a coach makes a very small investment for a person they're not real sure about, and then, great things result. The initial IPO on Brad Guenther wasn't that high. A lot of people didn't recruit him, and really, it was getting late in the year. It's the summer of 2009. Most institutions don't even have any money left to give to kids who start in the fall. And Brad is touring the campus with his parents. And he's not really sure yet where he's going to go. And Wayne State makes a commitment to him with very little bit of investment. But wow, did that turn out. It would be like buying Apple stock when Steve Jobs was still working in his parents' garage. 4 years later, he's the GLIAC Player of the Year. He's a first-team All-Midwest selection, and he's a finalist for the Tino Martinez Award as the best baseball player in Division II in the country. These were some career marks for Brad. He had a .432 on-base percentage, a .430 slugging percentage, and a career batting average of .319. What makes those numbers even more impressive, in a day and an era where kids don't mind to strike out for power, he actually ended his career, his 4-year career, with more walks, 104, than strikeouts. I asked Brad, why did you come to Wayne State? He said, well, you know, I'm not a big party guy, and Wayne State is not a party school. Hell, Jen could have told you that. But he said, you know, I think Wayne State and Detroit, they get a bad rap. He says, really, the heart of Detroit and Wayne State is hard work. It's blue collar. But if you work hard and do your best, you can build something. You can be successful. He said, you know, I just consider myself more of a grinder. It fit my style. Talk about a grinder. Think about this. He's the career leader in walks. He's also the leader in sacrifices with 30, and he was in 10th place on being hit by pitches with 10. With 17, he was in 10th place. And remarkably, those were just the pitches by the opposing pitcher. That doesn't count the freshman who tossed it up there at 59 feet or the foul tips. He ranked 5th all-time in games played at 193. And when he took off that uniform, this is what Wayne State baseball had gotten from Brad Guenther. 4 consecutive seasons of 30-plus wins. A GLIAC Conference Championship, a GLIAC Tournament Championship, 3 trips to the NCAA Tournament, and an overall 133-80 record. I asked Brad, what was the most significant honor you ever received? And he didn't hesitate. He said, it was being selected as a captain by my teammates. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And you know why? Because they know what work you put in. You might be able to fool people who vote, he said, but not your teammates. They see how prepared you are. They see how you get ready for a game. They see you in the off season. They see what you do in class. They see you in the weight room. It was the same award that he cherished that he had gotten when he was in high school. And how did Brad respond to all that pressure as the senior captain? He played in every game as a senior, 40 of them as a catcher. I think Coach Kelly gave him a couple days off as a DH. And he hit .361, had 6 home runs, 46 runs scored, and 41 RBIs. Oh, yeah. And at the end of the season, those same teammates, they voted him the most valuable player. The other day, Coach Kelly told me a story I'd never heard about Brad. At the end of the year, they always vote on the most outstanding players, like who's the best pitcher, who was the freshman of the year, and it happens in all the sports, football, basketball, whatever. Well, they're taking the vote for the player of the year. And when they get done, the conference office announces that it's somebody other than Brad Guenther. They're on the call, and an opposing coach says, hey, maybe we didn't get this right. And another coach says, this doesn't seem correct. So the conference office recounted the same votes, and Brad Guenther was the player of the year. How often does that happen where there's a vote miscount? Anyway, Brad, today there's no doubt about it. We're not recounting. It was a unanimous vote. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. Brad, stand up.
Brad Guenther, please come forward. Mr. Guenther's citation reads in part, Brad Guenther, a 4-year baseball letter winner, 2010 to 2013, a native of Saline, Michigan. Brad was a semifinalist for the Tino Martinez Award, presented annually to the most outstanding player in NCAA Division II baseball history, and was voted GLIAC Player of the Year as a senior. Talked about his accolades as a senior. He was all first team, all GLIAC, all region, from both the College Baseball Writers and the Baseball Coaches Association. And finally, after his time at Wayne State, played professionally for 1 season in the Los Angeles Angels organization. Brad earned his Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education with a major in social studies teaching. Rob, it gives me great pleasure to present Mr. Brad Guenther for induction into the Wayne State University Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thank you all. I got some advice to keep it short and sweet, so that's the plan I'm taking. It really was a surprise to get inducted and get the call from Mr. Fournier. I was actually running a baseball practice for my summer ball team, missed his call, got his voicemail, and I said, what could Mr. Fournier possibly want with me now? And I had no thoughts of Hall of Fame, no nothing. I called him back like, what could this possibly be about? He let me know I was getting inducted. Very surprising. I remember I called Coach Kelly, and the first thing I said was, I really don't feel like I even deserve this honor. So many great teammates. I was on such great teams with such great coaches. I was always on a successful team. I feel like that really helped get me over the edge for this. So it was a total team award that I just feel honored to be a part of. So I was pretty much a team player. If you couldn't tell by the records you heard, those were they weren't super skillful records. I wasn't a big home run hitter, nothing like that. I'm a sack bunt career leader. I have the base on balls career leader, and I've reached on the most errors. So those are my 3 kind of career records. I always tell my summer ball team and my players about how, those are my career records. They kind of laugh at me. It's kind of funny records, but if you look at them and you know baseball, those are those are records and stats that really help the team win. And that's kind of what it came down to for me. I was always willing to do whatever it took to help the team win. That was what was most important for me. So it really is just such an honor to be a part and get inducted with such great players that were a lot better than me. And I just want to thank my family, Mom, Brendan, my brothers, my grandma for being here, my coaches, Coach Kelly, Coach Hughes, Coach Tyson from Saline. Could have never been up here without you guys. And most of all, my teammates, because that's who I played for, and it was just an absolute honor to share the field with them. So couldn't thank you guys enough, and thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to introduce you to the Hall of Fame class of 2021. Have a seat when you all get a chance. You can take a picture of that there, so I'll put this back in.
Okay.
Take a picture of that there, so.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. Excuse me. You want to step on over? Step on over. Okay. Sorry. All right. All right.
Brad, stand back up there.
It's a picture. Thank you.